Welcome to Pickleball Journey. Today we are talking about how to return the spin serves.
Stay tuned to the end where we share the #1 tip for returning serves. All right, guys, we're going to jump right in. We're going to start out with 3 simple tips to be able to return any serve. We're going to start out with a good athletic stance. #1, feet shoulder width apart with a slight bend in the knees and the weight on the balls of our feet, not on our heels. Okay. #2, we're going to have a good split step to get our body in kinetic movement so that we can move easier before the opponent hits the serve. So right when they're getting in their motion, that's when we hit our split step and getting into that ready position, right? And #3, we're going to have our paddle in front of our body so that we can visualize that contact zone where we want to hit the ball, okay? So all 3 of these, I'm in my athletic stance, I'm going to hit that split step and then have it out in front, okay? So we're going to show a few tips here. Here we go.
Good.
Okay, second one. Nice, good serve. And notice I'm moving forward too. I'm not, you can move to the side, but make sure that you're cutting off the path of the ball and you're not moving backwards or directly horizontal from yourself. Always moving into the court because, again, our goal is to get up to that kitchen line.
Yeah. And Elisha, do you think, should we be hitting these returns as slice returns, top-spin, or kind of flat?
That's a great question, Justin. Yes and yes. It depends on the serve we're getting, right? So if we get a little bit easier serve that maybe is popping up a little bit, there's no spin on the ball, and we can be aggressive with it, I'm going to drive that with a good top spin and try to be more aggressive with it. So again, there we go. So coming over that ball and being more aggressive so that I can get a better ball to hit out of the air at the kitchen line. If he's hitting a harder serve or a ball that's a really great out of my position and I'm having a difficult time moving to it, I prefer a little bit more underspin or backspin because it's easier to get it in and it floats higher over the net. Okay, so, and the good thing about pickleball is that they're not at the net ready to whack it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how high you put it over the net, the ball has to bounce with the 2 bounce rule.
Well, and that's something I noticed too that you're doing, Elisha. Your returns are clearing the net by a couple feet, so you're having good net clearance, and you're also landing the ball probably a couple feet inside the baseline. So it doesn't need to hit the line, you don't need to be too risky, but you're not landing them short because then the opponent can step up and hit an aggressive shot off of that.
Great point, great point. Yeah, so just like Justin said, aim for that 3 feet over the net, 2 feet over the net, whatever that is, because if we hit in the net, there's no chance of winning the point. So we really want to make sure we're getting it high over the net so that at least it has a chance of bouncing in.
Yeah.
Right. For our next progression of the return, it's going to be a little more complicated. It's going to take a little bit more analysis on your part. We're looking at how this ball is being spinned in their hand, because one of the reasons we're talking about how to return is this new evolution of a spin serve. It's a lot more difficult to return a serve. So one of these things we're going to be looking for is how Justin is spinning the ball in his hand. That's super crucial because it's not how he hits the ball or how it looks like he's spinning the ball with his paddle. It's how he's spinning it in his hand that the ball is going to react to the ground, okay? So for example, if he's we'll use the Ben Johns serve for an example.
We want to watch what your opponent is doing. So if the server, you're the returner, you're watching the server, and he's pulling up on the ball with his right hand and going down with his left. So he's going like this. He's spinning it off to the left. So again, going up with the right, down with the left. It's coming up like this. That ball is going to spin to the left. It's either going to spin to the left or it could go straight depending on the motion. But the spin of the ball has more impact on the direction that the ball moves more than the motion of the serve. So if he's going like this, that's deception to get you to think that the ball is going to spin off this way, but really the spin on the ball is counteracting that to make it go. It'll probably go straight, which we call the screwball, or Morgan Evans does it as like the ACL tear.
Yeah, right on with what Justin is saying. If you're excuse me, if you're watching the hands and seeing how the ball is spinning there, you don't need to pay attention to how they hit with their paddle. That makes no difference. Watch their hands. So from a returner's perspective, if I see that right hand go up, right, and that left hand go down, that ball is going to be spinning and it's going to cut to my right. Okay, so no matter how he hits it, whether that's top spin or inside in or inside out, that ball is going to bounce back towards this direction or straight. It's not going to go to my left.
Let's do a couple here. There we go. See that kick off to the left there?
Ooh, that's a good serve.
Good. Now I'm going to do the other way, where I slice.
But I won't be fooled. Yeah. So for me, my mind is wigging out. So I have to hold on to the truth that I know what I saw with his spin, and it's going to cut back because everything in my mind wants to say that it's going to cut to my left. So I need to hold on, making sure that, hey, I'm staying true to making sure that, hey, that ball's going to come back to my backhand or forehand if you're a righty.
Well, and keep in mind too, so if I don't do any spin to it and I do this motion, watch how the ball reacts. So it'll go that way a little bit, but you can move to that. It's not jumping super hard.
Yeah.
Now what you have to watch out for is if they spin it the opposite way and do that serve. So again, if you're watching here and now they go up with their left hand and then they're going down with their right. So like this, you're going up with your left hand, down with your right, and you do that motion where you're slicing it out like this. Then it's the opposite. You're going to be watching it kick off to the right, and it's going to be hard for them to get it to go to the left, even if they do this other motion. So let's do a couple of those. There we go. That one didn't have a lot of kick. There we go. So notice how that had that kick off. And if I now do this other motion where I'm following through with topspin, take a look at, that's still kicking off to the right.
Yeah.
So he knows because I'm spinning it up with my left hand, no matter what, it's not going to kick hard left.
Yep.
It's always going to be moving that same direction, just matters how much.
Yeah, great explanation. And to simplify even further, as a returner, all I'm looking for is which hand is coming up, which hand is being pulled like the chainsaw, right? I think that's called, right? The chainsaw, right? So is his right hand pulling up or is his left hand pulling up? And that determines the direction of the ball. So for example, if I see his right hand pull up, right, that ball is going to be going to my right. Okay. If I see his left hand pull up, guess what? That ball is going to be going to my left.
That's a great
so
point.
That's a simple version of, hey, which hand is pulling up, and that's the side that it's going to go to. Simplicity. So for our last and final tip, this is the big one. In many cases, sometimes you don't see which way they did it. You know, they're either speed serving or they're hiding it so you can't see it. In all cases, make sure you're behind the ball and at a good distance from the bounce. If we're at a good distance from the bounce, we're able to react to whatever the spin is going to be, whether it's jumping to the right or to the left or forward, we're going to be able to react. So if, say, for example, I never saw Justin, Justin spin the ball, I'm going to get behind that ball so that no matter which way it jumps, I'm going to be able to react and get it back in play. If I'm jumping on top of that ball from where it's bouncing, a lot of times I don't have time to react, so then he aces me, and then I look ridiculous, right? He's going to break my ankles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a good distance from the bounce, and I'm going to be directly behind it so that whatever way it bounces, I'm in position. So I'm going to close my eyes, and then I'm going to hear the bounce. All right, here we go.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I get my body behind the ball at a good distance.
For weekly tips, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video.
And leave a comment below, guys.